So our topic today is slope of a line. Okay. Again, this is sort of a review from what we did last year. Slope of a line. Anybody know? Okay, for example, here is a line. Oops. Anybody know what a slope of a line is? How do we define slope of a line? Nicole. Rise over run. Very good. So it's a ratio. Remember we learned ratio, right? Comparing two similar things, right? Ratio is rise over run. It's how much of rise over how much of run a line has. Okay, so write that down. And today we're going to actually give you some formula. Does anybody know the formula for slope of a line when you are given 2 points? So they give you two order pairs, right? And then you could figure out the slope of a line. Who remembers this from last time? How about, give me a sec. How about Destiny? Oh, forgot. Okay, sorry. I thought you had your hand up. Zara?
x2 minus x1 over y2 minus y1.
No, that's how we get it wrong. Okay, that's a lot of people do that and get it wrong. Remember, this is rise over run. So rise means how much you go up and down. So do you think you're gonna have x's on the numerator? Zara, let's try it again.
Oh, okay, yeah. So it's y2 minus.
Thank you. It's y sub 2. That's how you don't say y2. It's called y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. You guys remember this from last year? We're going to talk about this more in depth in a minute. But let's just remember that it's rise over run. So please, a lot of people make that mistake of thinking, you know, x comes before y, so they use the x as a numerator. That'll be wrong. It's rise over run. Therefore, you have to have the y's on the numerator and x is on the denominator. Let me write that down for you. Okay, there you are. So if I have 2 points like x, like some two numbers, right? Some order pair. There could be any two numbers from the line. Right? You name it as x sub 1, y sub 1, x sub 2, y sub 2. What do you think? Where do you think these x sub 1, y sub 1? Where does 1 and 1 and 2 and 2 comes from? What do you think? Yes.
The order pairs.
Yeah, the order pairs. What does 1 represent?
The first.
Yeah, it's from the first order pair, and then the x sub 2, y sub 2. They belong to the second point, right? Does that make sense? Oh, I wrote 2. I'm sorry. It should be x sub 1. Let me fix that. Sorry, you're right. Okay, there you are. Sorry. Thank you. All right, so write that down. All right, then take a look at this line. Okay, so we got a line here. If they give it to you as a graph, it's really easy to see the slope. You don't even have to use this formula. You can just look at the line and figure out the slope. So step 1, the first key step is to, by the way, let me ask you this. This is kind of an interesting question. Slope is ratio, right, of rise over run, correct? Doesn't the line go forever? So doesn't the line rise forever? And doesn't it run forever? How do you figure out rise over run of a line? Because I thought the line goes on forever. How are you going to measure this rise over run? What's the key step or the first step you got to do before finding the slope? Yes? Thank you. You have to find the 2 points is correct. So Rania is correct. Key is to find, first, choose any 2 nice points. I mean, you could choose any 2 points, but what do you think I mean by nice points? Yes, Nicole? Yeah, points that fall exactly where the x and y axis cross and so forth. For example, you probably don't want to choose points like right here. You know what I mean? Because I don't know what that is exactly. You know what I'm talking about? But what are some nice points? Right here. You see how that point, you could easily see what the order pair is? You see it. So I will pick that one. Anybody else? What other points should I pick to find the slope of this line? Anybody see any other nice point? Yes, one person? That's it? Saying Annie? 0, 1 would be 1, right? By the way, what is that 0, 1 called? That is your? Hello? Y-intercept, right? What's another point? If you had to choose, I mean, all you need is 2 points. Destiny? Negative 2, 0. What is this one called, class? That's the x-intercept, right? So usually x and y-intercepts are nice 2 points, but not. I mean, you're not going to always get x and y intercept to be a nice point. You know what I mean? Because it could be like between 2 numbers. This time it happens to be that you could see these are nice points. You can see the order pairs right away. Like for example, would you know what this would be right here? Do you know what the order pair? No. So you want to pick nice points. Does that make sense? A nice point meaning points that are obvious for us to figure out the order pairs for. Right? And okay, so let's find the slope then. We said the slope was rise over 1. We could actually use this formula also. But once they give you a graph, you don't have to actually plug into the formula. When do you use the formula? If they give you 2 order pairs like this, right? They give you 2 order pairs like, I don't know, 5, comma 3 and 7, comma 8 or something. Then you could just use the formula, right? But if they give you a graph, you could just do it by looking at it. So for example, let's pick 2 points. Which one should I choose in this case? Let's just choose, you guys choose. How about, let's pick just 2 points here. Nor, just choose 2 points that we picked as nice points. We got 3. Let's just pick 2 of them. Which one would you like to choose? 4, -3? 4, -3? 4, -3 is down here. You need to choose a point that is on this. You want to choose 4, 3? Okay, is that like right at 4, 3? Are you sure that's?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, kind of. But I said pick any of these 3 that we just chose. Why are you picking something else? Yeah, which one would you like to choose? Out of these 3 that we chose. Pick one. Would you like to pick first one here? 0, 1? Okay, 0, 1. Here we go. Let's call that A. Is that okay? Pick another one, Nor. 2, 3. 2, 3 isn't the point that we chose. Nor. 2, 3 isn't a point that's on this line. There's 2, 2, isn't it? Yeah, 2, 2. Okay, there you go. All right, so we got. I picked 2 points, A and B. Is that okay? So let's look at the rise over run. In other words, ratio. In other words, how do I go from A to B? Right? So to go from A to B, so maybe I should write A down here. Okay. A, here is B. How much do I have to go? It says rise over 1. How much up do I have to go up? Kira? 1. So I have to go up 1. Can I go left, right first for a slope? No, it's rise over run. So you have to go up and down first to get to the other next point. And then that's 1, positive 1. If you go up, that's positive 1. Okay? And then we have to go to the right how much? 2 points. So what is that? What is the slope then? You have to go up 1 and over right 2. That's positive 2, right? Guess what the slope of this line is? 1 over 2. Okay, so. All right. Everybody okay with this? Now it turns out, why do we have to go from A to B, right? Could we go from B to A? It doesn't matter. Let me go from B to A. Let's see what happens if we go from B to A. Let me do this in different color. So go from B to A. So what do I have to do first to go from B to A? Can I go to the left too first? No, it's rise over run, so I have to go what? Down 1. So when you go down 1, guess what? That's -1, okay? And when you go to the left 2, guess what that is? -2. So that's why it doesn't really matter if you go either A to B or B to B or B to A. The slope is same, which is half, right? Because what's negative over negative cost? Positive, so you get half, no matter how you do it. Does that make sense? Some of you may say, wait a minute, what if I chose the other point? So let's forget these. And what if I chose the first and the last one here? What do you think would happen? Oops. So what if I chose this to be my A, this to be my B? Is that possible? Right? Because we said we could pick any 2 points of this line, right? Okay, everybody go ahead and try, see what you get for slope if I do this. If I choose this point to be A and that point to be B. Do you think we're going to get the same slope? You think so? Yeah, because turns out if you have a line, you pick any 2 points, slope is constant. It doesn't change. Okay? That's why line is straight. That's why it's not a curve. Anyway, go ahead. Everybody go ahead and find the slope. I'll wait. Okay? So let me call this C instead of B because we just did that. Okay? Go ahead. Everybody try. I'll wait. Okay? All right. So who could help me how to find the slope from A to C? How about Angie? What should I do to find the slope from A to C? First, I have to up 2. Very good. So up 2. That's positive 2, right? If you go up, that's positive, right? If you go down, that's negative, right? If you go to the right, that's positive. If you go to the left. By the way, can I go to the right first? Or do I have to always go up first to find the slope? Up or down, right? Because slope is rise over run. Rise means you go up and down. Okay, then what do I do, Angie? Go to the right 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's positive 4, isn't that right? So what is the slope of A to C? Isn't that simply 2 over 4? What's 2 over 4, class? 1/2. Right? You see how we get the same answer? Would it change if I go from C to A instead of A to C? No. If I go from C to A, I go down 2, okay, which means what, class? -2. And then to the left 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, left 4. So what's that? -2 over -4, which is 1/2. So this is showing you that no matter which 2 points you choose, right, the slope of a line is what? Constant. Very good. So write this down. Is the slope of a line constant? The answer is yes. And why is this true? Why is slope of a line constant? Why doesn't it change? Think about this as you write this down. Why doesn't it change? Here, what I did for you here is I drew a line and I showed you the slope. You see my rise over one in red and one in blue? Yes? Okay, so look at, why is the slope of a line constant? Well, if I pick these 2 points, what is the slope of this line, by the way? You go up 1, 2, 3, 4, and to the right 2. What is the slope of this line? 2. Okay. Why is, okay, so let me pick another 2 points here. What do you notice about the rise over 1? It remains the same. What if I pick these 2 points? As a matter of fact, I could make it 1. Yeah, make it slower. What happens if I choose any 2 points? Right? What happens? You see the slope, the ratio remains the same.
What is this, Mr. Holmes?
It's a program that you will later learn. Maybe, okay, we'll see if you have time. So it's called WinPlot. Anyway, so it's a free program that you could make it. Now, it looks like it works for this slope, right? I can pick any 2 points. As you can see, the rise over run, the ratio remains the same, right? Let me try different slope. Which slope should anybody I guess? Because I could change the slope on this line. Well, yes?
3 over 5.
3 over 5. 3 over 5. Now, there's your slope, and here's 2 points. And as a matter of fact, I could choose any 2 points I want. I could pick these 2 points or these points. Doesn't matter, okay? All right, so let's see if it is really 3 over 5. I have to move this to the...
Wait, any points is 3 over 5?
No, look. So you see how my slope is 3 over 5? Look, I have to go up 3 to the right 5. Do you not agree? The slope of this line is 3 over 5, like Zara wanted me to try. Okay, let's move it around and see if it remains the same ratio. Look, if I go up these 2 points, 3 over 5. If I go down, right, it's 3 over 5. As you can see, it doesn't change, right? The slope. I can make it round again. Right, you see? The go faster? Here. You see the slope doesn't change of a line. And the reason is because, what do you know about a line? All lines are straight, right? It's because they're straight. The reason why it's straight is because it's remaining that ratio, rise over run, throughout the whole line, right? Therefore, if you pick any 2 points of a line, the slope is constant. Does that make sense? Yeah. All right, good. Oops. All right, quit. Q for quit. Okay, there you go. All right, good. So guys, do you understand why the slope of line is constant now? Have we answered this question? What would you write? It's because the line is straight, right? Because that's how you maintain that ratio. Does that make sense? All right, so we just showed that to you. Okay, let's move on to the next part. Okay, so let's talk about how remember we just talked about the formula for slope, right? So we have 2 points, A, B. Now, this time I'm just going to tell you this order pair. It's going to be some order pair, right? I'm just going to call it x sub 1, y sub 1 for the first point, and then x sub 2, comma y sub 2. What was the formula again? Let's remember. Who remembers? We just actually wrote it down. Look up your note if you forgot. Max, what was our formula for this slope if I have 2 points like this?
Y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1.
Exactly. So here's some picture. Like, let's say we have 2 lines like this, right? You basically find, why is it y sub 2 minus y sub 1? Well, because we just look at the rise over 1 of these 2 points. Okay? So if you go from, let me call this point A to B. Well, that's not A and B. This is A to B. Okay. Yeah, so, and we just learned that it doesn't matter if you go from A to B or what? B to A, right? So if you go from A to B, it's y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. It's because you just look at the difference of the 2 right? Coordinates, right? How much do I have to go up to go from y sub 2 to y sub 1 and so forth? And if I go from B to A, you get y sub 1 minus y sub 2 over x sub 1 minus x sub 2. You get the same slope. Remember we just did that as in some examples, right? You could go either from A to B or B to A. The slope remains the same. Okay, it doesn't really matter. So, but the popular one that we use for slope is y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. But as long as you're consistent, if you're gonna start with y sub 2 minus y sub 1 minus y sub 2, guess what? If you do x sub 1 minus x sub 2, you get the same result. Okay, so, but this is the one that we use the most. So let's do some examples. Okay, any question on this? Okay, we just went over this, right? Oh, okay, still writing? Okay, I'll wait. Oh, and also, what letter do we like to use for slope? I think a lot of you already know. To represent slope, we use letter S. No, we don't use letter S because S looks like 5. So we use letter M for slope. Okay, does that make sense? Yeah. And actually, I think. Okay, anyway, don't worry about it. So we like to use letter M for slope, and you may say, wait a minute, M? There's no M in slope when you spell that out. But people that came up with these like a long time ago, they decided to use M because in their language, M I think represents slope. So for tradition, we like to use M for slope. What was our x-intercept? Which letter did we use? A. What was our y-intercept? B. And we use M for slope. Okay? All right, so let's move on. Let's do some examples now. So here is the kind of question you will get on your homework tonight. It says, find the slope. And they give you 2 points. So instead of giving you the graph, they give you 2 points. Once they give you the graph, it's easy. You just pick 2 points and you just count how much you have to go up and right to the right or left. But once they give you 2 points, you just use the formula. Now, before you use the formula, this is where people make silly mistakes. They either like put them in the wrong order and they put the wrong numbers in and so forth. So what I suggest you do is, first of all, you label these points. What should I label the first point? X coordinate of the first point. X of 2? X of 1 is the first point of the first x coordinate of the first point, and then and then y sub 1 for the second one. Is that okay? Yeah.
Wait, what's that before the 1?
Oh, it's example 1A. Sorry.
Oh.
Yeah, 1A. I have another one. All right, and then here, what about negative 3? What should I label this? X of 2, because that's the x coordinate of my second point, and negative 4 is x of y sub 2, y sub 2, right? Please label these. That's your first step, okay? Because people don't label it and they kind of, mix things up, and you're gonna get it wrong. If you do that, you get it wrong. So then next we use the formula. Okay, we use the formula. We just know that we just learned that M is equal to y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. And again, do we have the x's on the numerator or the y's on the numerator? Y's. Please remember, because it's not run over rise, is it? It's rise over run. And to figure out rise, how much you go up and down, y coordinate tells you how much you need to go up and down, right? All right. So now, and here's the second key step. Please use parentheses like this, because whenever we have some negatives and things like that, people mess up. And especially we're subtracting these numbers, okay? So I don't want you to mess up. So please use, because I know this is pretty simple, but I'm telling you guys, some of you mess up because you don't use parentheses and do this correctly. So you know you're going to be something minus something over something minus something. Use parentheses, and now plug it in. Okay, go ahead, everybody try. I'll wait for you. Okay, so did you all get this? Did you all plug it in correctly? Negative 4 minus 2 over negative 3 minus 1. Yeah. Okay. So what is negative 4 minus 2? We'll make it into addition. Negative 4 plus negative 2, correct? Over what? Negative 3 plus negative 1. Guys, I'm telling you, if you're not careful, it's really easy to make silly mistakes. How many people got 3 over 2 as the answer? Positive 3 over 2, right? Some of you asked, could we have done y sub 1 minus y sub 2 over x sub 1 minus x sub 2? Doesn't matter as long as you're consistent. But like I said, this is the one that we use the most. And you will learn later why we do this. Okay. There's a reason why they chose this one rather than the other one. But it doesn't matter as long as you're consistent. If you're going to start with y sub 2, make sure you on the bottom you have x sub 2. If you're going to start with y sub 1, you have x sub 1 on the bottom. All right, let's move on to the other one. Go ahead, everybody try this one. Label it, and this is example 1b now. Everybody try this one. You should all get this one. This time I'm not going to help you, but like I said, guys, you should follow what I'm doing like this. Make sure you label it, and then write down the formula, and then use parentheses to plug in. Okay, I'll wait for you. Go ahead, everybody try. Did you all label these like this? Here we go. Yes? And then when you plug in, you should have gotten negative 8 over positive 12, right? And then if you simplify, you should have gotten what? Negative 2 over 3. You should always simplify these, right? So, how many people got negative 2 over 3? Raise your hand. Good, most of you. If you didn't, do you see a mistake? Yes? Okay, please don't make silly mistakes. Was it because of you didn't change everything to addition or something? Okay. Or use parentheses, right? Because of these negatives, people make silly mistakes. Does this make sense? Yes? Let's move on to the next one then. Okay, let's take a look at example 2a. It says find the slope of a line, and they give you now an equation of a line instead of 2 points or graph. Uh-oh. So what are we going to do if I have something like this? Well, we just learned that how many points do you need to figure out the slope? Just 2. Do we know how to find 2 points of this line? Meaning, when we say 2 points of this line, meaning, what does that mean? Those 2 points are the? Okay, those 2 points could be the x and y intercepts, or or x and y intercept. Any points of this line is the solution of this line, right? So do we know how to find 2 points of this line? Yeah, you could. Nicole said we could find x and y intercepts, or you could just do the table, right? And you could do the table, and how many points or solutions can you find of this line? Yeah, infinitely many. How many do we need? Do we just need 1 for slope?
2.
Oh, we need 2. So you basically do a table and find 2 points, right? We've done this before, right? So what was our step 1 to find 2 points? Yes, sir.
Well, isn't there an easier way?
Yes, there is. Hold on to that. Okay, hold. Yes.
For y,
Yeah.
and then like the coefficient of x is the slope.
Yes, that's right. We'll get there in a minute. So you said it. I think a lot of you know. But yes, let's go through this and let's find the 2 points. To find the 2 points, you're right. The first step is, Jonathan, what? Solve for y. Is that okay? You guys remember this? Doing the table? Let's solve for y. So to solve for y, you subtract both sides by, step 1, solve for y, subtract both sides by 6x, divide both sides by negative 2, and you get y equals to 3x minus 7. And at this point, some of you say, okay, I already know what the slope is, but hold on to your thoughts, okay? Because I'm trying to make a point here, okay? So, all right, so we get y equals to 3x minus 7. And so once you do this, you make a table. And if you like, you know, what's the easiest point to plug in, guys? Again, 0. And what's the next point? Easiest next point? 1. Okay, go ahead. Everybody plug in 0 and 1. Tell me the 2 points you get, okay? I'll wait for you. Okay, so this is pretty straightforward, this table. So when I plug in 0, did you all get negative 7? Okay, what about when you plug in 1? What'd you get? 3 times 1 minus 7, what is that? Huh? Yeah, negative 4. Shouldn't you get negative 4? Did you guys use parentheses when you plug in?
Yeah.
Alright, so now we have 2 points. Guess what? We could use these 2 points to find the slope, right? So we got x sub 1, y sub 1 for the first one, x sub 2, y sub 2. Go ahead, everybody. Go ahead and find the slope. Tell me what it is. Okay. Some of you ask, could we have found the x and the y intercept? Yeah. As long as you get 2 points that belongs to the line, where the solution of this line. Yeah, it doesn't matter. I could have plugged in, right? Yeah, I could have gotten the x and y intercepts, but I just plugged in 1 since I solved for y and everything, right? It's easier that way. Go ahead, everybody try. Go ahead and find the slope. Okay, how many people got 3? This one's kind of interesting, isn't it? Like your x of 1 is 0, right? So you just plug in 0. Okay, so how many people got 3 as the slope? Raise your hand. All right, good. Now this is what Jonathan is trying to say. Anybody say anything interesting about the slope 3? And how we got y equals to 3x minus 7? Anything, do you guys say anything interesting?
Yeah.
Dominic? Hold on. Actually, do you all go ahead. Everybody discuss with your team. Anything interesting you found here? Go ahead, everybody. Because you should have remembered this from last year. You've done this before. Okay, what do you guys see? That's interesting. So let's see. Now, Dominic, what did you guys discuss? What do you guys notice about this? Yeah, when you solve for y by itself, look at the coefficient of the x. That happens to be 3, right? Guess what the slope came out to? 3. Do you guys remember something from last year?
No.
Something called slope intercept form? Anybody remember y equals to mx plus b? What did the m stand for? Slope. You see how when you solve for y, nice thing happens. M is your slope, and guess why they call it y plus mx plus b? What was b again? No, b is your slope is the m. What's b? Y-intercept. X-intercept is A. Remember? So that's why this form, we really like this form. You guys remember from last year? This form made everything really easier because once you put the standard form into slope-intercept form, you get the slope, which is the M, and you get the B, which is the Y-intercept. Does that make sense? So try this one. If I ask you to find slope of 3x plus 4y equals 7, are you going to make a table or are you going to just solve for y? Once you solve for y, you should all know what the slope of this line is, okay? Go ahead, everybody try. I'll wait for you. You could do the tables if you want, but you know, I think it's a lot easier if you just solve for y. Go ahead, everybody try, see what you get. Alright, so did you all solve for y? What did you guys get? Y equals to negative 3, 4x plus 7 over 4, right? Hello? Okay, so does it fit this form? Y equals mx plus b? What's the slope of this line? Without doing the table. Yeah, isn't this a lot easier? So there, it gives you the slope. I wrote it again. Slope-intercept form, that's what it's called. And then the coefficient of the x is the slope, and the number that's adding to that term is the y-intercept. Easy enough? By the way, what's the y-intercept of this line? 7 over 4, right? Okay, thank you. So may I move on to the couple more? Because I have 2 more. This is really easy. Okay, here we go. Okay, so here is example 3a. Find the slope of this line y equals to 2. This time, is this written in slope-intercept form or anything? It doesn't look like it, does it? But it is. But let's say if you didn't recognize that it was a slope-intercept form, guess what? We got to do a table, right? Because if you do a table, you could find 2 solutions to this. But it's really, remember, things like this is really easy to do a table for. When one of the variables is missing, if it says y is equal to 2, what is the value of y for this table every time? Y is always 2. X could be anything you want. So here, I chose nice numbers like negative 1, 0, 1. Y is always 2. So once you plug into this formula, which one would you like to choose? Which 2 points? 0, there's no 0. Oh, yeah. Okay, so 0, 2, and then 1, 2, right? The last 2, 1. Because, you know, you don't have to use negatives and so forth. So let's plug it in. Oops. Where is it? Here, let's plug it in. So I picked 0, 2, and 1, 2, like you said. And when you do x sub 1 minus y sub... Whoops, I did it wrong. Sorry. But, I did it correctly. This time I did y sub 1 minus y sub 2. I shouldn't have done that. I don't know why I did that. Anyway, so what do you get when you do this? Look at on the bottom. You get negative 1. What is 2 minus 2, guys? 0. So, what's 0 over 1? Negative 1. 0. Guess what? The slope of this line is 0. And when you graph this line, don't you get a horizontal line? Okay. So you get a horizontal line. Okay. Okay. So put it away, please. So when you get a horizontal line, all right. When you get a horizontal line, what do you notice about this horizontal line? The slope is what? 0. Because why do you think the slope is 0? Look at a horizontal line. Is there any rise when you pick 2 points? Do you go up and down? No. What is rise of a horizontal line, guys? Rise of a horizontal line is 0. 0 over any number is 0. Therefore, the slope of a horizontal line is 0. It's always true. So if you ever get any horizontal line, slope of this horizontal line is 0. Another way to remember, when you spell out horizontal, you get a bunch of O's, right? Horizontal. That's how I like to remember. Horizontal, so the slope is 0. By the way, if you wanted to, this could have been written in slope-intercept form. It's just that the reason why the m is missing and then the x is missing is because the slope is 0. What's 0 times x? 0. That's why you get y equals to 2. So that's kind of written in slope-intercept form. Is that okay? So, again, if slope of any horizontal line is always equal to 0. Does that make sense? Because there's no rise. It's rise over 1. There's no rise. So then what do you think a slope of a vertical line is? Hold on. Let's do this one. Hold on. Okay, so let's try this one now. Let's look at example 3b. All right, so it says find the slope of x equals to negative 2. Again, it's really easy to do this table on. X is always what? Negative 2, correct? You could pick any y's you want. And let's say I pick negative 2, 1, 2, negative 2, 2. that okay? By the way, if you were to graph this, you get a vertical line, right? So vertical line, look at, if I pick 2 points, there is a rise, right? But is there any run? What do you think the slope of this will be? Can you have something over 0 as a fraction? No, it's undefined. And as you can see, if I plug it in, I get -1/0 for a slope. So for every vertical line, slope is undefined. What is the slope of a horizontal line? Every horizontal line? 0. What is the slope of any vertical line? Undefined. The key is you have to know which one is vertical, which one is horizontal, right? Which one is vertical? When x equals to -2, is that vertical or horizontal? What about when y equals to some number? Is that vertical or horizontal? Horizontal. Does that make sense? Okay, yeah. Any question? Do you get this? Can you do something like this for your homework tonight? Yes. Good.